Go Island is brought to you by German Auto Import Network.
Doubt premiered in New York in 2005 and was since made into a movie starring Meryl Streep, Amy Adams, as well as a couple other notable actors. It is being presented here on stage at the Malaspina Theatre on the VIU campus by TheatreOne. We're spending some time today with the cast. A local teen lands a role in Some Assembly Required. Cookies power an island woman's need for speed, and the future is uncertain for French Creek Elementary School. You're watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. We're going to join the cast and look into the plot of Doubt later on this edition of Go Island. But first, Oceanside's Harrison Hood caught the acting bug when he was just a young teenager through producing his own YouTube videos. He's landed a role in YTV's popular Some Assembly Required. Here's Jocelyn Matley.
What would be the point of performing a secular song?
Fun.
Or Frosty the Snowman.
Well, that's a good one. Yeah, we could have one of the boys dress up as a snowman and have him dance around.
Which boy?
We'd do tryouts.
Now, it looks like there might be some underlying currents of the plot here in Doubt. Julie McIsaac plays Sister James. What is going on, and why is there a particular interest in what boy might play Frosty?
Right. Well, Sister James is a teacher at St. Nicholas School, so a Catholic school in 1964, and there's a boy in her class, and there's a bit of concern about the relationship between this particular boy and a priest who also teaches at the school, so Father Flynn. And Sister Aloysius is my superior. She's the principal of the school, and she sort of planted this seed in my mind to really be aware and really watch carefully, and that sort of starts me thinking some darker thoughts and also being suspicious.
I get the sense that for your character, you're so new at the school and new to the role of teaching, yet you're being influenced by an obviously very influential woman.
Absolutely.
What kind of dilemmas are happening for you as a character?
Well, I think she really wants to be a good teacher. She really wants to do right by the students, and she really wants to fulfill her own expectations of what a teacher is, and she wants her students to like her. She wants to be liked, but at the same time, she's been told by her superior that you have to be watchful, you have to be vigilant, their well-being is in your hands. So there's these two philosophies that are sort of pulling at her.
The content not light.
No.
There's racism, there's sexuality, there's abuse, there's the Catholic Church. How difficult is it for you to deal with all of these, what can be quite emotional topics to process?
That's a very good question, because there is a lot going on, and it does have a weight to it. The good thing is that we all really get along well in the cast. We've got a great director, David, and so we're able to keep things light amongst us and talk about the issues so it doesn't get too heavy on us. But of course, we want to honor all those issues as well. So you really do have to take that plunge and jump in with both feet and really explore that emotional landscape in order to do justice to the story.
So it's set in 1964. Do you think a lot of the issues that are being dealt with in these walls are relevant today?
Absolutely. I think that's what makes the play so interesting, is that it's set 50 years ago, and yet the tensions, the relationships are things that you could see still going on. You know,
even the taboos that people are trying to bring to the surface.
Absolutely, and the idea of having these things going on and these suspicions, and the idea that of when you're not sure and how to deal with that. I think that happens in everyday life, and how much evidence do you need before you take a step forward, and when do you take that risk to speak even though there might be these major consequences.
Excellent, thank you. The power of theater, able to address some of those issues as you process what you think in your seats from Vancouver Island University Theatre, Malaspina Theatre. The show opens this Wednesday and runs through until April the 27th. We'll be back with more details about how the cast actually get along after a short break. Putting the cookies to the pavement in Langford, capturing images of hummingbirds in their nest, and an uncertain future for schools in District 69.
Did you know that at the Port Theatre we have an I Go to the Arts program, and that allows high school students to get into the theatre for many of our performances for $5.
You're watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. We'll be back with more from the set of Doubt after we look at this. It's a woman who sells cookies to support her race car driving habit. We're here at the Malaspina Theatre on the VIU campus in Nanaimo on the set of Doubt, which runs through until April the 27th. You can get your tickets through the Port Theatre box office or, of course, right here at the door. Showtimes are 7:30. David Mann is the director of Doubt, and what a cast. I've only met them for a few minutes, and Frank, who plays
Father Flynn.
Father Flynn, says, "Hi, I'm Frank, I'm just not really a priest." How do you describe what Frank brings to the cast?
Well, first of all, he brought the play because I was working with Frank. I've directed with him a couple of times before, and I've acted with him. And about 10 years ago, or a little less than 10 years ago, we were working on a show together, and he'd just come back from New York City where he'd seen the premiere production of Doubt and been just totally blown away by it. And he said, "Oh, we got to do it sometime. We got to do it. It's such a great play." And so, I read it, I saw a production, I thought, yes, I would love to do this sometime. And if I ever do, I will get Frank to play Father Flynn if I possibly can.
Norma Bowen.
And Norma Bowen
is an acting legend, I think, on the island. When I did some time with TheatreOne, worked with TheatreOne, you needed to know who she was.
Oh yeah, I mean Norma's a great actor with a ton of experience, and she brings terrific technique and passion to the role, as does Frank as well. And they're very unique individuals. You put them on stage, and every eye goes to them. The charisma is there, the stage presence is there, and you really need that with those. Actually, Norma came out and did a general audition for me when I did them in the fall, and I just went, yes, this is my sister Aloysius. And so did Julie McIsaac. She came out and did an audition. Of course, I'd seen Norma perform before, and I had seen Julie perform before. But again, I just thought, okay, she's my #1 choice for Sister James.
Is it her innocence in the role?
Yeah, there's that. I mean, she's described as a character who has a sunshine in her heart. And I think Julie carries a little bit of that around with her. She's got a great personality and very positive. And then to fill the final role of Mrs. Muller, I was having trouble finding somebody and ended up reaching out to contacts that I have, people that I very much know and trust in Alberta, because I knew that there were some actors out there who might be appropriate for it. And Moniz Peter just came highly recommended. But the biggest thing that the whole cast as a group come to is there's no egos. They work incredibly hard. They're totally generous, and there's no egos in the room. They're just there to really make the play go, and they do.
I'll vouch for that, because you never know quite what we're walking into with professional actors, and it's what is the energy on stage going to be, and right away, instantly relaxed and welcomed. And
totally.
Okay, we're going to talk with David Mann a little bit later on in this edition of Go Island. He's back at the helm of TheatreOne. We'll talk about what else is going on in that theater company based here in Nanaimo. But we're throwing things over now to Dan Kahn in Victoria. He loves hummingbirds. He's got a story about hummingbirds. You're watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. TheatreOne has a special place in my heart. It's actually what brought me to Nanaimo in 1998. I was the publicist there for a while. Had the privilege of working with Mr. David Mann, who is now back with the company as the artistic director.
Yes.
What kind of things are going on with TheatreOne these days, besides Doubt, of course?
Well, as I'm sure lots of people know, TheatreOne is one of the busiest arts organizations on the island, doing things like Fringe Flicks and Just Kidding Children's series, and the Emerging Voices new plays, and the Bite of Nanaimo. But of course, it started as a professional theater company, and the main stage theater program is the one area that has probably had the least attention in the last few years, partly because of funding and space requirements and that sort of thing. But I think it's a really exciting time right now, because we're hoping to turn the corner on that. We want to, in the next 3 years, rebuild a subscription season of professional theater for TheatreOne here in Nanaimo. And
not an easy task.
Not an easy task, but the only two things standing in our way, really, are money and space. So once there's a potential for a real theater home in downtown Nanaimo, which I think could be in the offing, and also funding from several levels of government, and donations from individuals and corporations out there. Yeah, you never know. I think it's a realizable thing that we could do. I mean, this year we actually did 3 shows. We presented 2. the Deck and the Wonderheads Grimm and Fisher, both of which were highly successful, brought a good audience. So there's obviously a bit of a hunger out there for really good professional theater, which is what Doubt really is.
Really is, and that runs here at the VIU Theatre, Malaspina Theatre, until April the 27th. And just a shout out to the hard-working board of directors at TheatreOne. They dedicate countless hours and work tirelessly behind the scenes to keep Nanaimo's, I think, oldest professional theatre company going and thriving. So stay tuned for more news coming from TheatreOne in the months to come. We're going to head into the school district now. School District 69 is looking at restructuring and repurposing some of its facilities, and that has French Creek Elementary School looking at a closure. Here's Rayanne LaPlante. There is a special board meeting taking place on April the 29th to talk about the different facilities options in School District 69. In addition to French Creek, Parksville Elementary and Qualicum Beach Elementary schools are also up for closure. A decision is expected to be made or announced at this meeting. Once again, that is on Tuesday, April the 29th, 7 o'clock at the Parksville Civic and Technology Center. That brings us to the end of this edition of Go Island. Doubt runs through until Sunday. You can get your tickets through the Port Theatre Ticket Center or pick them up right here at the doors of the Malaspina Theatre on the VIU campus in Nanaimo. Thanks for watching Go Island. We'll see you next time.
Go Island is brought to you by German Auto Import Network. Clothing supplied by Catwalk Fashions. Kate's Hair and Aesthetics provided by Maffeo Salon.